Earlier this week, attorney Tony Buzbee said that he intends to take the Deshaun Watson case to trial for Lauren Baxley civil suit in Houston. Again, Tom, it's one as opposed to the mess that it was, but it's still something that I probably think the Browns and Deshaun Watson would like to get out of the way.
Yeah, and this could be posturing by Busby as well, kind of putting the pressure on that side to try to get to a settlement by threatening, to take it to trial. There's always negotiations going on between both sides, outside of the public realm. This is what goes on in these kinds of cases. So, to your point, I think, obviously it is something that the Browns would like to have go away completely, but let's be honest, it's never going to go away completely. It is always going to be a part of Deshaun Watson and his story. I spent all of last year writing about the potential suspension and then the suspension and then Deshaun Watson coming back from the suspension. And now he's a little further removed from the suspension, but it is always, going to be part of his story. So, you hope it gets settled. You hope this doesn't affect Deshaun Watson too negatively. I still worry about this long layoff. I mean, we all talked last year about whatever it was, 700 days between starts. Well, this is now a guy who has only played 6 games in the last 3 years. So, I still think there's going to be some rust there. I'm still not sure he ever gets back to that elite level that the Browns thought they were getting when they signed him to that historic contract. So, listen, the distractions have been minimized, but there are still some out there.
Yeah, and, to your point, they need him to be pretty darn elite if they're going to get where they want to. I mean, you look at the landscape in the AFC, and there's a lot of really talented quarterbacks.
Yeah, I have a hard time, even putting him in the top 5 most times when you're asked to rank them. And let's be honest, that thing is pretty interchangeable. It can kind of change on a week-to-week basis. But, when you see the emergence of a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who suddenly is in the conversation, and, Justin Herbert, and, you go right down the line, beginning with Mahomes, who to me is in a class all by himself in the AFC with Burrow, with Lamar Jackson is staying, which I wasn't surprised at. So, yeah, it's really tough to picture Deshaun in that top 5, but that's what the Browns need from him. They need him to get back to that 2020 level of where he was throwing for 4,400 yards and 40 touchdowns or whatever it was. He needs to play at a high level, and that's why they went out and got him, and you just got to hope for the best.